Welcome to Biztech C-Suite Conversations show. Today, we're going to be talking about the esports industry. This is a show where we feature senior executives in innovative industries. Allan Phang is the Chief Marketing Officer of Galaxy Racer Esports, and we're going to get an overview from him about the esports industry. Galaxy Racer Esports is one of the fastest growing esports organizations around the globe and is based out of Dubai. Allan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Brian. Thanks for inviting me to the Biztech Asia show.
Now, thanks a lot, Allan. Now, before we start, you have a very interesting background. Give us a perspective of your background and how you ended up in the esports industry.
Well, that's an interesting question, actually. I got into it by accident. I was previously 7 years in AirAsia, the airlines. And one day a pilot came up to me and told me that the co-founder of AirAsia, Tony Fernandez, knows about esports and Twitch. I'm like, what on earth is that? That's alien language to me. And when I researched and realized the amount of potential it has and the projections, I'm like, oh man, we need to get involved in it. And slowly, but step by step, we managed to get involved. I spent $1,000 US, my own personal money, which you cannot claim back from the company, right? And produced 100 jerseys, gave it to all the C-suite executives, even to our co-founders, and they found out it was my own money, and I got reimbursed for it. And after that, we just entered the space and invested in it.
That's interesting. Now, tell me about that. So, what made you come up with that idea of actually printing the jerseys, and what was the objective?
It's actually kind of like very unorthodox marketing. I actually got this idea back in my paintball days. Previously, I was running a small paintball business for about 10 years, doing import-export of the equipment and also international events. And back then, when you tell people about paintball, they think it's pinball, like the pinball machine you play at the arcade. So I'm like, okay. So we had to do jerseys and give to the decision makers in companies. Then they feel more aware about it. And I realized I need to implement this same strategy. So back then in AirAsia, I asked like 100 of them to wear it every Thursday. So to create a buzz and hype and create the culture of it and awareness. Because back then I was in corporate culture. So okay. I was able to influence in that point of view and saw the potential it had by creating an esports club for employees. Just like every corporate company, they have a bowling club or futsal or football club. So like, hey, why not esports? And then we can do a marketing buzz out of it, which went viral. We were actually one of the first in the world to do it. And due to that, I got invited to a lot of conferences and even TED Talks to share about it.
You've just joined Galaxy Racer as its Chief Marketing Officer. Tell us about Galaxy Racer.
Galaxy Racer, we are based in Dubai, our headquarters, but we have expanded to even parts of Europe and Southeast Asia, and also looking to other parts of the region. We have a satellite office in the Philippines as well. So we are not just esports, we also do lifestyle. We have content creators, they have billions of views on their YouTube channels. And we also have 11 esports teams, 160 million total followers across the group. And yeah, we're expanding aggressively as we speak.
Okay, now, esports is no longer a niche industry it was 10 years ago. Now, in the last 10 years, Allan, it's been phenomenal in terms of its growth. Could you give us a chronology of some of the key points and milestones in the development of the esports industry in the last decade?
That's a good question, actually. I was actually part of that scenario whereby I didn't even know it existed. Those who are listening, probably esports as gaming or playing video games in a cyber cafe, or in South Korea they call it, like a cyber cafe that is very different name. And what happened is it was a very under the radar kind of thing. If parents tuning in right now, they would think it's like a bunch of kids playing in the basement and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's grown tremendously due to the fact that the internet speeds have caught up, and because of that, people are using it as a new form of social media. A lot of parents don't know, but when I went to the US and spoke to them, they realized that, Allan, my kid is not just playing in front of a computer or on the screen. He's playing with 100 other people, and that's their new form of social media. So I actually caught up when the internet got faster, and it's going to even catch up more with 5G coming in.
And now give us a perspective of the esports ecosystem in the Middle East. Now, you talked about gaming, and there's about 80 million gamers in the Middle East. which essentially it's a very large economic force waiting to be fully tapped by esports.
Yeah, it's actually very exciting. I mean, especially like even Dubai, the government's very supportive. And we're just not talking about Middle East. Even Middle East, Africa, we got Arabic speakers. The language is very broad. And like some of our content creators, like Abofla, he has close to like 18 million followers, and he has like 2.3 billion views, on his
Wow.
YouTube. And another person, talent called Stars, she has like same, 18 million followers and close to 2 billion overviews, So it's really getting big over there. And imagine if you cross over and they start speaking English, it's going to blow up even more.
And also one of the things that is fueling this growth is the fact that the Middle East has some of the biggest or the highest mobile phone penetration rates in the world, right? So that makes it interesting, a landscape, because essentially a lot of gaming, which most of us older folks think in terms of gaming consoles or computers, actually most of the gaming is now done on mobile platforms, right?
That's right. Penetration rate is really high. If you go to any parts of Southeast Asia, you go to the restaurants, you see young kids, millennials, Gen Z, the younger generation, they're on some form of mobile device and even playing with their friends. I mean, pre-pandemic, they're all at, in Malaysia, they call it mamaks, or other parts of the world, they call it restaurants. They're actually huddling around, all 4 or 5 of them, and they're on their mobile devices, playing with their handphones, a game together. That's their new form of entertainment, if I may say. And everyone has a handphone, so why not? And it's even overtaking PC or even console, if I may say.
Now, also one of the reasons for that probably is also the affordabilities. So you have a 100, 200 ringgit, 200 US dollar smartphone, and basically that is your gaming platform.
Yeah, I mean, added to the fact that telcos are getting very smart, they're giving zero rated data to these consumers, meaning you use the YouTube or you play a certain game, you have a special package for gamers now in certain parts of the world, like in Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, even Malaysia. So all the big boys in the telco space are involved, because you can't really make money from your SMSs or calls anymore.
Yeah. Now, sticking to the Middle East itself, you have people like the Dubai Media Office and TCOM Group now just unveiling plans for the first esports stadium in the Middle East. Now, that's really a goal in terms of establishing Dubai as a global hub for video gaming events and stuff like that. But that's a government-focused initiative, right? Is that something that not just the Dubai government is doing, but Middle East, other governments in the Middle East are also getting behind?
Definitely, you got also aside to Dubai, you also have Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They're all looking to it, and I believe it's going to be one of the biggest hubs around the world. And they are able to fly in other esports athletes for events. There's a big event previously, PUBG Mobile by Tencent. It was held there last year. And for us, we even have a PUBG Mobile team. It's one of the games by Tencent. You have a Middle East team we just announced a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And we even have female teams. And in League of Legends, one of the games, as well as male teams. 50% of our esports athletes are female. And we even have the Girl Gamer Festival. It's an all-female esports tournament that which the world finals was held in Dubai last year.
Now, what is the breakdown like in terms of male, female? Because I would have thought that it would be very male dominated in terms of activity.
Right. I mean, like, definitely you see the stats out there these days. They would say like 70, 80% male, but now females are rising up and they're more vocal. Previously, it looks like it's male dominated, but actually there's a big group of female demographics that's also involved, just that they're maybe below the radar still.
Okay. Now, Allan, you've got you're now in the Middle East, but you've actually got a lot of experience in the Asian gaming esports space. Give us a sense of what the esports landscape looks like in Asia.
Right now, the top countries would be Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and even Singapore. In terms of government support, is really great. Governments are putting in funding because they realize it's also a marketing per se. Just like South Korea, how you have your BTS and Blackpink, for example.
Yeah.
So esports is a new form of cultural crossover, and even in the SEA Games, Southeast Asia Games back in 2019 in Philippines, there were 6 medals up for grab: gold, silver, and bronze, which was tallied into the leaderboard.
Wow, I
And
didn't
like
know
for
that. That's interesting.
yeah, exactly. And like for example, in Malaysia, we had a gold medal winner. His name is Dr. Yu, and he won a gold medal from esports, and also had a bronze medal. And it's getting even bigger. The next SEA Games, which is going to be held in Vietnam, there's up to 10 gold, silver, and bronze medals up for grabs. And even next year in the Asian Games 2022, there's going to be esports as well. So it's really booming, and people realize it. Even if I may just add on, Olympics, IOC, International Olympic Committee. Even as Olympics is happening now in Tokyo, they just announced a few months ago their own version of esports called the Virtual Olympic Series, Olympic Virtual Series, and they have 5 events: baseball, cycling, rowing, sailing, and motorsports as part of their IP. So yeah, even as we talk about Asia globally, it's just booming, and it's by continents as well.
And could you give us a sense of who the major players are in ASEAN in terms of the esports industry?
I would say in terms of government support would be Malaysia and Singapore. For example, the Malaysia government allocated budget for esports. Like back in 2019, it was 2.5 million US, 2020, 5 million US, it like increased 100% year on year. And this year, 3.7 million US, total about 11 million US already since 2019. Okay. And even in Singapore, there are a lot of major events that they did with Tencent and C Group Garena, and they fly in players from all over the world. So you see government supporting behind it is going to just get bigger and bigger. In Indonesia and Philippines as well, it's really big because of due to the population size. They even have franchise leagues. So for example, a franchise slot to have your esports team in Indonesia can cost up to $1 million US.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just imagine like the NFL in the US or the NBA kind of thing. So these franchise models are coming to play in Southeast Asia. In China as well, they got those League of Legends slots. It's going to cost a lot as well, in the millions, I would say. For example, in the US, to get a slot for League of Legends team back then was 20 million US. Crazy astronomical prices.
Wow.
But we see that happening in Southeast Asia, slowly but surely.
And also in the franchise model, it works in tournaments that are very established, right?
That's right. What they do is they give revenue sharing in terms of broadcasting rights or sponsorship rights, as well as in-game items, because you have a big fan base. These publishers, game developers, they have your in-game item for a particular team, and you sell it to your fans, and there's revenue share out of that as well.
And could you give us a sense of, in terms of players, when I say players, it's companies itself. There are companies who are going and buying teams and stuff like that, very much like Galaxy Racer, but who are the big players in Southeast Asia at the moment?
I would say like in Philippines, you have Globe Telecom, one of the largest telcos over there. They have their own esports team called Team Liap. And also in Udu in Malaysia, a telco. Previously, they had Udu Gang. Now they have a team called Udu Alliance. And this alliance is actually an esports organization from Sweden, right? And they went to Singapore, and now they are in Malaysia. And you also have other esports organizations like Team Secret from Europe, and even Fnatic. These are esports teams, IPs, which are even coming to Malaysia. Even PSG, the football club, that just got Messi. They had an esports team in Indonesia as well. They did a collaboration with a team called RRQ. Yeah, so there's a lot of crossovers. Talking even about music as well. Even today as we speak, EVOS Esports, my previous company, they did a collaboration with Universal Music. So yeah, even modern music is involved.
Okay, so Allan, in terms of monetization wise, you have these crossovers, but are these crossover deals being done more from a marketing perspective, with the eye on marketing and increasing awareness, rather than the dollars and cents revenues that they hope to earn out of it?
That's a good question, actually. Every C-level executive wants to know. So in terms of monetization, it will come into play. We talk about like BMW, Mercedes. Why are they involved? You Google, you'll find all these reports, right? So it's not about them selling a car today. It's about in the future. So your esports audience is young, average age 18 to 35 years old. They might not buy a car now if they're 18 or 20, but the next 3 to 5 years when they have disposable income, they're like, oh yeah, Mercedes, BMW, they support the sport I love. Why not? Let's give it a try, you know?
Right.
So it's about brand building, it's your customer life cycle. If you don't go in now, you go in later, much later, you're going to end up spending more to get their eyeballs and their
exactly.
attention.
And it's also a very loyal fan base, isn't it? Because I think trust is a big part of the gamer culture. I mean, the influencers are I think, much more substantial in terms of the relationships compared to other different sports.
Yes, exactly. I would say every time I go to the US, they call it the A word, like authentic, A for authentic. So influencers, KOLs, key opinion leaders, they're very authentic, and the next generation love this, right? They kind of like tune out from traditional media already, you know. They probably even tune into Biztech Asia, you know. So it was straight to the point, yeah. And even like for music, right? Why they're getting involved? Because apparently there are reports out there saying that gaming, you know, as a whole, is even bigger than music or film combined, right? So like esports is actually just a subset of gaming. Gaming is the broader term, and esports is just one of it. And a lot of these game owners, game publishers, they use esports as a marketing tool. And in terms of monetization, back to your earlier question, if you create an esports team now, don't expect to see direct monetization straight away in terms of breaking even or hitting profit straight away. It takes time. Yeah, I see reports raising funds or that, but it takes time to build an esports team. Some value it based on like 10x of a tech startup, let's say, or even if you do an esports tournament, because it takes a lot of time to develop these things. It's not like a one-hit wonder and you get it right straight away. It's a long tail game. Usually 5 to 10 years.
And so that's a very good, because it leads to my next question. Where are the opportunities right now if I was an investor and I was looking to invest in this? And it could be an investor as a corporation, I could be an investor as a high net worth individual. If I was looking to invest in the industry right now, where are the opportunities to do so? And because you are a person who now has a Middle East lens and an Asian lens, maybe you can give us some different perspectives. Teams, platforms, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so just to give a flavor and understanding, in the esports ecosystem, there's different parts of it. There's the teams, there's the leagues, there's the live streaming platforms, and you have the influencers, talent management, and you have the broadcasting, production, crew, etc., production platform. So I would say if you really want to make money, it's not so easy, because if you want to do a live streaming platform, it's going to cost a lot of money, a lot of burn, and but because there's the Facebook giants, and also YouTube, and also other China platforms that are live streaming platforms that are coming in very strongly in this part of the world, and they will even give out contracts to talents, and they can pay up to 10,000-20,000 USD a month just for people to play games. Yeah, I want to be a streamer too. So what happens is, I would say you want to make money is on the talent management side, but then again, it's not easy because you're dealing with a bunch of, if I may say, just straight to the point and being blunt, a bunch of Madonnas and Michael Jacksons. It's not easy.
And any that sort of creative talent has always been the issue, whether it's an actor, whether it's a singer, and now whether it's a esports gamer.
Yeah, esports gamer or live streamer that plays games. So that's where the money is right now. If you do an esports team, it's more for branding and marketing. Brands are coming in because of the eyeballs. But in terms of conversion, let's say a brand comes and sponsors a team, they'll give X amount, but they also want conversion, like how many sales would happen out of this activation. So esports is not there yet. We will get there. So I tell people, and people tell me as well, that esports is like an English Premier League. It's like 100 years old back then. It's not like something that's been around a long time. Esports is only 10 years old. So we're just scratching the surface. We're just at the start of the English Premier League for esports. And we are just at the start of 1 year out of 100 years. So a long way to go.
Now, Allan, any final thoughts? It's been a fascinating conversation, but before you leave us, any final thoughts?
My personal advice is to go out and explore the market, talk to the right people, because esports is still a nascent market, very new. And people tell me it's like a cowboy town, it's like a wild, wild west. So really, just like every other industry. So talk to the right people, reach out to them, and get to know more first before you dive in with your dollars and cents.
Now, Allan, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing with us really a good perspective of the Middle East as well as the Asian esports industry.
Thank you. I also got a question for you, Brian.
Yes.
Do you play any games?
You know what? No, I don't.
You should. This one last parting words for those parents with kids, right? So try to play a game that your son or daughter plays. See what they play, and they call you the coolest dad or mom ever.
Okay, I will keep that in mind, and I'm sure our audience will. I'm Brian Fernandez, and I've been speaking to Allan Phang, the Chief Marketing Officer of Galaxy Racer Esports on Biztech C-Suite Conversation show. This video will be on our Facebook and LinkedIn sites, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.